Watterson certainly left us a legacy of great ideas, great drawing, great comics. But he was last in a long line of really amazing cartoonists from the 20th century, since the real blooming of the comic strip art form. And he very much valued the work of Walt Kelly, one of the cartoonists that I loved to read when I was a kid. If you look at Pogo, you can see that he very strongly influenced not only Bill Watterson, but also Jeff Smith, who does Bone. Pogo was this world similar to what Watterson created, where there were these animals and these characters, and they spoke about things much bigger than the swamp that they lived in. They were possums and alligators and chicks and all these things, but they were politicians and philosophers, and they commented heavily on society. So I can imagine why Watterson found Pogo fascinating to look at, and it's beautifully drawn. And Walt Kelly, just no end of genius in how he created Pogo.
Schulz is, of course, such an important cartoonist and such a great one that I think pretty much any comic strip that began after the early 50s was influenced by it. The scale of the stories he would tell, the intimacy of the strip and of the settings, the observations of children's lives, all I think, again, can be seen as influences on Calvin and Hobbes. Just the notion of the world from a child's point of view was something that Schulz took, and while other artists had done things with it before, Schulz did it so much better and had so much influence that, once again, you can see it flowing into Calvin and Hobbes.
Well, I don't know Bill Watterson, so I don't want to speak to his motives, but it appears to me in reading his essays and seeing some of his interviews about Crazy Cat, that Crazy Cat set a bar that he judged his own work by and would not be satisfied with his own work if it wasn't as idiosyncratic, as imaginative, as personal as Crazy Cat was. Watterson said in his first hiatus he started paying more attention to what Harriman was doing on those full pages when the newspaper page was a blank canvas, and he could have form be dictated by content instead of the other way around. Instead of saying you've got 8 panels here, that's going to be your narrative. Instead, he could blow it wide open and have the panels not be panels. Have the adventure, the narrative flow, follow whatever course artistically he wanted to take. All that stuff that Harriman gave himself license to do is right there on the page. So I think for a cartoonist, it represented freedom. It represented personal, artistic, visionary freedom. I think he saw that and saw that this was what he could do too.